Ahoy there, Captain Benzie here, coming at you with another video for EVE Echoes. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at the Fading Star event and Gravitational Wave Graphs. So we're going to have a look at how you can use a Gravitational Wave Graph item to turn that into a bookmark to get yourself some really cool items. We're then going to talk about what those items actually mean in terms of the Fading Star event, and then we're going to sort of open this up to the community as a what the hell is going on here. Maybe if some of the information I have and some of the information you have can twin together, we can figure out what we're supposed to do with this, because this clearly needs to be a community event. Now, I'm doing this mainly on Silent Rose because it's giving me an opportunity to fly around Scalding Pass in a lurid pink and orange hurricane, which I love. It reminds me of the old fruit salad sweets that we used to get as kids. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. But anyway, let's jump right in to having a look at what this is all about. Now, if you're watching this video during the Yule Festival 2021, then there's a couple of bits we need to cover first off. So let's go into the menu and into event, and you'll see we have a 7-day login reward event going on from the 16th of December 2021 through to the 23rd of December 2021. Obviously, you can ignore this if we're talking about this outside of these dates. Now, here you can see these 7 days of login, both as Alpha and Omega, will give you rewards like some skill points, some Concord credits, and indeed some loyalty points as well. But if you are Omega, you'll also get some nanocore materials, and there are 2 classified 1 gravitational wave graphs. So this is one of the ways that you can get a gravitational wave graph. The other is with the logging in on Fading Star's treasure troves. Here you can see there are 19 days left of these, and you can claim this reward to get started. This will give you a gravitational wave graph, and of course that's what we're going to be looking at here, and it will dump it straight into your inventory. So, with all of this, we get a nice little bit of text here from Mother Siona. Thanks so much for accepting the mission. The monitoring reports related to the gravitational collapse are increasing. Devices deployed by the Sisters of Eve can't monitor all the collapse spots, so those graphs we received haven't recorded every region and constellation. We can't tell which system has gravitational waves. So what do you need to do? To create a correct gravitational wave signal report via the gravitational wave graph, you'll have to complete 2 steps: signal calibrating and signal locating. Calibrating requires you to find out the hidden space of the gravitational waves within your rich experience. The colour of the probe indicates how close you are to the correct answer. Signal calibrating results will impact the clues used for locating systems. If the results aren't ideal, we probably won't be able to locate the system. Signal locating requires you to locate the correct system based on clues about unknown regions and systems. Upload the system locations to verify the data and see if it's consistent with the data on the Sanctuary Cloud server. If the verification results are positive, a correct gravitation report will be created. If it fails, you'll need to wait for a while to retry, since the available ports in the Sanctuary Cloud server are limited. Once the gravitational signal report is created, your mission will be complete. However, if you get bored, you can head to the system mentioned in the report. People say those criminals who were exiled by various factions are always hiding something precious in places where gravity has collapsed. You know what I mean. The gravitational wave signal report has been sent to your inventory. Good luck out there. And it gives you a brief rundown on how this works here, but rather than read through all of this, I'm just going to showcase it to you right away. So, we're now going to go into our inventory, into the item hanger, which is where this is going to be dumped, and I'm going to have to scroll past everything I happen to have in station here. It will be right towards the bottom, along with like nanocore supply materials. There it is. You can see here I've got a secret trafficking container, and there it is, Fading Star's gravitational wave graph. Now, if you read through this, you get some information here that you have to wait 30 seconds if you screw this up before you can try again. Not that it's a big problem because you're docked at the time. I'm not entirely sure where they've done that, but it's a type of item which records abnormal gravitational fluctuations. So we can now tap on Analyze Signature Address, and it will bring up this menu here. Now ultimately, this just goes left and right and left and right, and there's no real sort of advantage to picking any particular point as far as I can tell from all the different characters I've done this on. So just kind of stop it whenever you're ready, and you'll see here that you're just going to try and find a particular point. There we are, there's the green one. We finally get it there, and now we have a signature analysis 100% completed. So if you get a red line, you're too far away. Try moving in a different direction. If you're getting a yellow line, you're getting closer, and the green line then is that congratulations, you found it. You now have a signal analysis, which will be in the region you are in. So currently, of course, I'm in Scalding Pass, so I have to have a look here through this region and find this constellation. Now, you can see the region is already highlighted, but where on Earth is this actual constellation? Well, I find that by zooming in and looking around. Now, I've actually had this one before, so it's nice and easy for me, but if you can look around, you might already be able to spot it. I'm going to zoom right in. It's this little constellation here, the WQZ84 constellation. Now, the system that it wants is this one here, so we can tap on that, and you can see how that matches up to the unknown constellation there, and we go, cool, that looks about right, let's confirm location, it'll scan it, and then it will confirm it. So now you see an unlocked item has been sent to the inventory. So if we go now to the inventory, you can consume this item to generate a bookmark. Recommended modules not applicable, recommended ship destroyer. I'm going to be doing this in a cruiser because, well, you know, yeah, destroyers. But hey, if we click confirm, what that does is consumes that item and generates the bookmark. Now, you need to be careful with this because once that item has been used, it is gone. And if you clear this bookmark, you ain't getting it back. So we're now going to basically confirm that autopilot, undock, and we're going to go and have a look at this site. This is very similar to autopiloting to a new encounter. It'll take you to the system, and when you get there, you just get the warp to cosmic anomaly where the bookmark is located. Obviously, you can hit OK on that. If you did hit cancel, you can go into your overview, and under wherever you've got your anomalies saved, look for one that says Gravitational Detection Location. Warp to that one. Now, there is apparently the possibility of getting pirates in these as well, NPC pirates. I've not encountered any currently, and most people's reports are that the current ones seem to be pretty safe, but don't take it for granted. Do come with weaponry fitted, and my goodness, I've just realised what a mess my loadout here is. There we go. That'll do. Move that to there. Now, once we arrive at the Gravitational Detection Location, yeah, again, this one doesn't have any NPCs in it, we can open the window, change it to loot, and there should be some containers. Now, these vary from worn containers to damaged containers. I have seen intact containers as well. We can then loot these, of course, and see what we have inside them. And this is everything from sort of data cores to blueprints to some really quite unique items that I'm interested to see more of. So here we have conductive polymer, tripped power circuit, defective current pump, and metal scraps, which are all reprocessing items used for rig building, and a minor efficiency rig there, which we can loot, and a scientist's diary here as well. This, if we long press on it, this is sort of a lore item, which is pretty cool. They get some really interesting descriptions on some of these. So I'm not going to read through all of this here, but you can see some ideas here. This one mentions the Academy of the Departed. There are some of these that do sort of tie together, I've noticed. I've even found some sort of like the Amarian drugs. The name kind of slips my mind now, the one that they use to break the Minmatar slaves free. That has been found, so we can loot that. We've got 2 secret trafficking containers. These are the ones that contain the Death Wish nanocores. You can force these open for a chance at certain piece of gear, which comes here. The force open rewards will get these bits at the bottom, or you can go to the store and use Plex to buy keys to give yourself a chance at opening the top ones instead. I'm still not fond of this because you have to pay for a key that is still a chance of something, so you might pay for it and get a nanocore that just doesn't work for any of your ships. We've got some motley compound, which is nice, a little bit of PI resource there, and a local immigration office record. A Jinmei girl, some information here, Dodixie. I've seen this mentioned in, Dodixie's been mentioned in one of the items I found on one of my other characters as well. These are tradable. These, I think, are the clues for different events. And then let's have a look at this damaged container. Let's move to this one. It's 12 kilometers away, so I need to get a little bit closer. Fortunately, a Bellicose Covert Ops is not a slow ship, so we should be there quite quickly. damage container. Again, we've got some noble gas, PI, some metal scraps, 3 more secret trafficking, and this time we have a Commander-in-Chief's command card, something to do with the Yanzhong Great Voyage, and an Astrologer's document, The 7 Events of the Apocalypse, which is a book that you can actually get as part of the Museum Arcana. So now that we've looted those are in the cargo hold here. Some cool stuff there as well. Fortunately, I had just enough space for that. I hadn't brought too much fuel with me, so I can take this back and work with this. After returning to station, I sent via contract all the items that I found on my other character onto Silent Rose here, so I've sort of collected them all together to have a look and a compare, and there definitely seem to be some themes running through these. Now, I'm pretty certain that these are the clues that we're supposed to be gathering ready to use in the Golden Age event when it actually launches on the 22nd of December later this month. But if you've got any ideas, let me know. I thought it'd be an interesting way to sort of round off this video, just to look at these different items and sort of see how they twin together, because they do definitely have some themes running, and hopefully that could give us some inspiration on where we go with these. Now, the first and possibly most exciting, if you've been watching the patch notes, is the Sunchaser navigation system. Now, this doesn't actually work. I can't fit this to a ship and actually use it. That is going to be part of the Golden Age nanocores, but it mentions it here. A navigation system developed by Yanzhong that detects a star's gravitational waves, pinpoints its Lagrange point, and guides the ship to the target star. A Lagrange point, by the way, is there are 5 of them around any astronomical body, and they're points where gravitation is sort of, it's in a balance point. We use them around Earth and the Moon for like placing satellites and things. This technology played a major role in Yanzhong's Great Voyage from New Eden. And it's not the only one I've got here that mentions the Yanzhong. If I go across, I think it's this one here, the Commander-in-Chief's command card. Yu Ying, Commander-in-Chief of the Yanzhong Fleet, leader of the Great Voyage, again highlighted in gold. In AD 9055, he led the Yanzhong fleet through a wormhole to leave New Eden and embarked on a journey in search for their home among the galaxies. After wandering for a long time, the Yanzhong eventually stopped in a black hole system. It was a cold place. No one knew how long they could hold out there. And as far as I'm aware, I think that's the only one I've got that's definitely Yanzhong. Let's have a quick look. The Scientist's Diary does mention some things here. I've not slept for days. I watched the golden globe in the centre of the room, there with everyone's consciousness flowing inside. However, it's been silent for too long. I'm afraid a lunar eclipse is coming. People are connected to each other in this core of consciousness. Our time in the real world flies by so quickly, but in you, every moment is stretched across to eternity. But you must forgive me for cutting my connection. I have to measure each and every star with my own eyes. Children of the Academy of the Departed, you did not begin your life connected to others. You came into this world alone, and alone you will be when you illuminate the night sky. That's really beautiful, but I've no clue what it means. Maybe you guys do. Now, this one I really quite like, the Civic Court Verdict. This is moving on from the Yanzhong and being a much more Gallente theme. Verdict of the Gallente District Court of Dodixie. Plaintiff, Fedmart. Defendants, Ellie. Skip the Black Cat. Case summary. The prosecution accuses the defendant of infringing Fedmart CEO Eric Mars's right to health. During a public speech at the city council meeting, Eric suddenly began coughing violently and showed symptoms of runny nose, red rash on the skin, etc. The plaintiff claimed the symptoms were caused by Skip the Black Cat, who was caught trespassing with Ellie in the meeting hall. The plaintiff asked the court to detain Ellie and Skip as illegal immigrants and claimed that the two were liable for damages. Verdict. After investigation, there was no evidence to suggest that Ellie was actively causing Eric harm. Eric's severe allergic reaction was caused by cat fur left on Fedmart's security personnel when they seized the cat. With the jury's verdict, the court ruled that the plaintiff should return Skip and compensate Ellie 5,200,000 ISK for emotional distress, travel expenses, and pet sitting. This gets funnier when we look at where this actually begins. A local immigration office record. Ellie, a Jin Mei girl, so Kaldari I believe. She has a companion, a black cat named Skip. When she was 12 years old, Ellie got on a freight ship to look for Skip who'd gone missing. The steel beast carried her to the Gallente trade hub, Dodixie, a place of her dreams. Thus began the adventures of a kid and her cat. Basically, we're talking about a 12-year-old kid and her cat accidentally making a guy severely allergic in the middle of like a big meeting and stuff like this, and I cannot wait to find out more about where that particular story goes. It's just awesome. Now, we've had a look at the other one, so let's have a look at the Astrologer's document. Demella Macaper, a Galente astronomer, author of the 7 Events of the Apocalypse. A century ago, he wrote down predictions of the end of the world in this book, which didn't gain enough traction at the time. However, after the passing of Macaper, his predictions started to come true one after another, drawing the attentions of not only theologians, but people from all factions and fields of study. So this has the 7 Events of the Apocalypse highlighted. Now that is a big thing, as I said, in the Yanjung's, what's it called? The Museum Arcana. I couldn't blasted well think of the darn thing, but it's not the one we're talking about here. There is a separate item, the 7 Events of the Apocalypse, which I found. The first event, the Cosmic Kiss of the Comets. Second event, Storms and Floods. Third event, a roaring stone silences the world. The fourth event, the darkness shall swallow the land, and in its wake there will follow a storm as the emptiness expands over the world. The fifth event, the little brother makes the final sorrowful steps home, he's not welcome. The sixth event, what was many now becomes one when one becomes 4. And the seventh event, the return of the dark light from the heart of the mother. Now this is actually quite interesting because some of these do twin in with New Eden's history. So for example, what was many now becomes one when one becomes 4. We're talking about one sort of universe becoming split into the 4, the Galente, the Kaldari, the Amar, and the Minmatar, but they become one by going under Concord. So that's sort of the Yule event there, possibly. I don't know. There's some interesting stuff there going on. Darkness shall swallow the land. In its wake, there will follow a storm as the emptiness expands over the world. Could that be the collapse of the Eve Gate? Who knows? But it's a cool little document and clue nonetheless. Finally, the two that hit closest to home for me as a Minmatar player, the Insorum Booster. Basically, the Amar Empire injects their slaves with a sort of a chemical, sort of a drug that makes them peaceful, makes them sort of just do what people say that you know they need to do, keeps them passive as slaves. It also is one of those things that if they try to escape because they don't have access to the drug, they die a horrible, slow, painful death. So during the Empyrean Age, there is invented by Otto Gurushi, I couldn't think of his name there for a second, a chemical called Insorum. And Insorum is basically a way to undo the effects of this particular drug. Heavy labour, a hostile environment, disease, many factors torment Minmatar slaves away from the Amar Empire. There is only one cure for the problem, Insorum Booster. To the slaves, it's a symbol of freedom and good health, and so you can use this to basically free slaves. This then ties in with this very angry letter here to the Amatar Consulate. To LaShawn, my dear brother, how's the Amarians treating you, you old fiend? I can imagine the way you sit in Amatar Consulate office drinking expensive wine while glancing over this letter. It's been a long time since we saw each other. With this letter I want to ask, do you still remember the day we met? I should have left you to die in that mining disaster. I had many, many opportunities to make my move. In the mines, in front of the boiler, on the slave ship, even the time we fought over a girl in that dingy bar we used to go to. But we were brothers at the time. Who would have thought that you would one day choose to be an Amatar instead of a Nephantar and continue to enslave our people? LaShawn, you traitor, one day I'll succeed in taking you down with my own hands. Think about it, who's more suited to this task than me? For Nephantar, for Bruta, for Minmatar. Enjoy your last moments and dread the day when you see me again. Yours sincerely, Marcus. That's pretty cool. Now, obviously, there's a lot of stuff goes on in the backstory as well with the Amatar and the Nephantar, and it turns out that the Amatar aren't actually quite as, you know, sort of agreeing with the Amar as you might think. They do so to actually protect the Stark Manir tribe and sort of keep them secret. So there's some really cool lore implications here as well. That certainly ties in with the Insorum Booster, and I'd love to see where this all goes. I think that's all of the items that I've got here covered. So some really interesting lore implications. I do think that these are going to be the clues that we're going to use when the Golden Age event itself goes live on the 22nd of December. If you've got any unique items you think tie in with any of these, please do let me know in the comment section down below. I think this is going to be a community effort for us to figure out how this all ties together. Anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Happy sailing, and see you in New Eden.